bow riders, open boats, sunny days, wind in your hair. It's awesome. We all love it. But I think there probably comes a time in your boating life when you don't always want to be in the wind. You don't always want to be in the sun. Or maybe it's not you. Maybe it's your wife, your husband, your kids, grandma, grandpa, who knows. But I think when you're taking boating seriously, when you want to treat boating as your real weekend holiday activity and just not one of your many options, that's when you need to consider a cabin boat. And today I'm on a very fine example. This is the Regal 36XO, outboard powered. You absolutely want to be focusing on outboards these days, and an exceptionally well designed and very well built piece of kit. I'm Dan Jones, this is Dan's Boat Life. Come with me and I'm going to do a bit of a walkthrough. Okay, so we've just repositioned the boat. I wanted to get the shot close to the beach so you know this is the kind of boat that you can do that with. But the tide was going down, so we thought, hell, let's move it over here, make it a bit easier for us both. So starting the walkthrough on the back of the boat. First things first, this swim platform, super spacious. I've actually got this seat extended all the way aft. It goes forward, so there would be a little bit more space, but you could have 6 people out here, no problems. And you know, a lot of people are concerned about stepping off the back of the boats or having space with outboards. Not an issue on this one. You know, the outboards finish here and the platform finishes there, so plenty of space. Next thing I can see, I've got my 4-step telescopic swim ladder just here. Lots of high quality stainless steel all around the boat. So I've got stainless steel finishing here, nice cleats, stainless steel rub rail around the side. So just plenty of high quality little finishes as you walk around. It's a bit of a theme on these boats, typical of all Regals. I can see a couple of aft facing speakers just here. I've got my prop safety lights, so they're those LED lights that spin when the props are engaged, so that's good to see. And I've got a pull out hot and cold shower just here. I won't pull it all the way out, but that's just there. And I do know the boat has underwater lights. One thing Steve and I were discussing during the drive, basically everything's standard on this boat. There's 1 or 2 or 3 options on this boat. I'll let you talk to him about that, but it's amazing. Pretty much everything we're talking about and looking at today comes standard on these boats, so you don't have to do too much thinking. As we come aboard, Corian finish. I don't know if that comes up on the camera, but that's a nice high quality Corian stone finish, and then cup holders, same again on the other side. Sticking with the family theme, we've got a closing door here. So for dogs and kids, that's nice to see because it keeps the party, the guests controlled, and you can keep an eye on everyone on board, particularly if you've got young ones. As I step aboard, I can immediately feel this. I don't actually know what this carpet's made out of. It's like some sort of bamboo-y, some sort of look, but it's clearly foam backed because it's quite soft as I walk around. Some boat companies, they cheapskate on that stuff, and Regal have not. That's comfortable. Lower back support here, handle here, armrest there, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 people easy. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And the other thing I did notice as well, you have a handle here, you pull that, and this goes all the way down. I'm not sure, actually no, I think it stops there. But, oh yeah, how good is that? I mean, yes please, that's what boating and weekending should be all about. So I really like that. I'm going to work my way through and try and describe everything as I see, but there is really a lot of things to talk about. Immediately I can see this is a layout which has got multiple zones, multiple working zones. So this area here works perfectly as a lunch or a picnic spot. This teak table, it's got a solid stainless steel leg and it stores behind the seat just there. it's removable. So it doesn't have to be here. This can be all open if you wanted to do some fishing or use this area in another fashion, but it can also move. So if you don't want to be out here in the open air eating and you want to be under the cover, you can just pick this table up and slot it in over there. So that's good to see, and a sensible use of space. But I'll get there in a second because there's plenty more to talk about here. As I look up the side of the boat, high quality stainless steel downlights. You know, they haven't cheaped out once again, and I can see them dotted all around the boat. So it's going to be a safe boat to walk around at night time because you're not going to ruin your night vision as the driver, and it's going to look cool. More speakers, 1, 2. There's a button just here, and I'm going to operate that. This seat electrically comes forward, so no mucking around with switches and catches and latches and stuff. Just press the button, this thing will slide forward, give you more space on the transom platform and access to the service compartment below, which we'll come to a little bit later on. Next thing is we move into the middle part of the boat. So from here onwards, you're coming underneath the shade of the roof. So this seat is going to be exposed, but this seat here, if you're sitting down, you are actually underneath the cover. So you're not going to have, if rain's coming down, you're just going to be a bit protected. You're definitely going to be comfortable from the wind because you've got the glass finishes here. So basically all the wind's going to be going that way. You will get some vortice effect, but it'll be quite enjoyable. And if you don't want to be facing aft, you can actually just, I'd probably move that table, but this will slide like so, and then turns into a forward-facing seat. Again, I would move the table if I want a little bit more of an angle on that, but that's super sensible and easy to use. Before I get there, I'll just focus on some of the stuff here. Alfresco Dining. This is what it feels like. Even though we're in the cabin boat, I love it how designers are moving all this stuff that you enjoy most about your boating and bringing it up on deck, because who wants to be down there when you're cooking anyway? So I've got a few switches here. So that's basically the hatch up and down here, bilge lights, patio lights, and underwater lights. So they're all operated from here. I've got another fusion operation, just volume up and down. And then I've got 2 access doors on either side to what's a large, basically, you probably do your recycling or your empty beer cans and all that sort of stuff in recycling bags under there. I've got the operation of the Kenyan hot plate, which we'll get to in a second, but you turn it on and off from here. And this is all really high quality. It has a little bit of, the surface is a little bit, it's matte kind of surface, but it's got a little bit of grip to it almost, but it's a Korean, and it's also, it continues on up here. So any food prep splashing, you know, they haven't, some boat builders, they'll put material back here, and it just doesn't make sense. If you're going to be cooking, that's all going to get dirty. So they haven't on the Regal. They've thought about it. It's just, you know, sensible backsplash. Lift that up. Okay, so that is, sorry, the button there is for the barbecue just here. And so that's the barbecue operation there, and the hot plate is there. So we have multiple cooking options. You could put a pot on just there, and then you could have some snags on the barbie just there. So that's what they're doing with that. Now this is something very clever, and I want to see more on boats. They've actually thought about somewhere to put the clears. So often, and the clears are an option on this boat, I might add. So you can option this boat to have glass doors out the back here. Some people might want that. If you're in Melbourne, Tasmania, I could see that being of value to you. Sydney, anywhere north, I don't know, why would you? Like, this is what it's all about, this sort of flow through. You're going to be enjoying it. It's winter here, and I've already jumped into my Speedos before to tie that rope around the pole, and it's not that bad. So, but what they've done is the clears slide into a track, and they are the high quality glass effects, so you can see straight through them. You just have to zip them off, 1, 2, 3, fold them up, and then they go into a bag and slot straight in here. So they can stay in position, lots of storage, very, very sensible. I like to see that. This is our stove and grill safety. So this is the safety switches, so you don't accidentally turn them on and off here. And this was the stove that I accidentally thought before, and that's operated here. So you turn this one on and off here, and the barbie turns on and off just there. Coming through, this is obviously where you put all your cutlery, knives and forks and bits and pieces. And this is the first of the 2 very large stainless steel fridges. So that's great. You'll put stand-up bottles of wine in here, no problems. And then it's got this little tray here, so you can put all your butter and your little other bits and pieces that you don't want to lose at the bottom of the fridge in there. So that's one of 2. The second one is optional, one of the few options. This is your proper rubbish storage. So what you might do, because this bin's removable here, when the bin fills up, you take the bag out and then you put another bag in the bin and you put your rubbish in here. So it's just good to see how they've thought about the operation of all this. And the sink on a gas strut, so that's going to stay up. And I've not seen a tap like that before. That's quite fancy. I like it. So I can't tell if that's hot and cold, but you've got your sink and your plug just there. Sensible size, and we've got so much working space. You're never going to be wanting for surface area to put things. This is a good little pantry storage area. And this is another little sensible storage spot as well. It's worth noting that behind here, just somewhere in the back here, is the air conditioning unit. So we do actually have we can switch it on using lithium batteries, not the generator. However, the boat does have a generator. We can just switch the aircon on and have cool air pumping at any time of the day. So that's super handy. And this is how you operate the aircon here. Turn it on and do the control. What's this button? Well, TV. How good's that? We can just sit here and watch the cricket and enjoy life. So that's really not bad at all. We've got some more lights, operation and accessories here. And then our second of our 2 large fridges. So that's a mirror image of this one. And again, I love how they've just faced it in Corian. They haven't just left it a stainless steel fridge. So this whole unit is just classic Regal. They just go above and beyond with the quality side of things. So making our way across here, this is all a solid roof, a solid GRP roof, huge metal supports. When I say huge, you can tell they're strong, but they don't hinder your visibility. The windows are fantastic. I noticed that on the test drive. Subscribe for that video coming separately, but I thought the visibility on a style of boat was really up there. But moving your way around from this area, we got all shade and protection here. We got fixed windows here and here, and then this central part of the boat, we can be sitting that table just here, so we can be enjoying protection from the weather if we need, or we can move that table there and sit out there. The quality of the stitching and all the upholstery is fantastic. I don't actually know, that looks like Silvertex and this looks like leather, but all this diamond stitching, I know Regal do all that in-house at their factory in Florida, so like, that's just great to see. They're not farming stuff out like some boat builders. And here you go. Little details. Gas strut. I've got all my bags. You've got extra safety gear in here. So there's storage for lots of bits and pieces under there. And then if you look behind here, if you don't want the table, there's a dedicated spot for it. Just under here, it slots into a holder. The leg just slots on there. And under here, we have our bow sunshade. So there's 2 poles which slot in up the front, and the whole bow lounge, which we're going to have a look at in a second, is protected from the sun. So that's really sensible. Once again, more drop down, or not drop down, courtesy lights, I should say. I like seeing a forward facing guest's seat on a boat. It's just a bit more social. If you are driving a little bit of a distance with a few mates, it's good to be able to, enjoy the drive with your mates. Short blokes like me, if I'm sitting down here, I can't see much. I've got a steering console in my way. If the bow raises, I don't see much. So, ordinarily, they've forgotten about me. It's just all those tall blokes who are doing it good. But not on this boat. You press this button, the whole damn thing comes up. So, once again, thank you for thinking about my little legs. I appreciate that because, it goes up further. I'm not going to just do the whole thing, but it's great. In terms of head height, I'm 5'7". Still got a bit of space here, but then I come down this step here, and big blokes are going to be fine walking through. There's plenty of headroom. The helm itself, actually, Steve, why don't you come out that way and I'll show you a couple of bits about the helm. I won't go too much into the controls because that's on the test drive video, which you can subscribe and have a look at. But this seat here It's a large Helm seat, so that's good for 2 people at a stretch if you're a couple, or big people. So heaps of space. This seat comes electrically forward and aft, and it's got the flip-up bolster. And ergonomically, you've got the opening window, but the most important thing is the sunroof. So electrically, this comes all the way back to here. So giving you options. I'm not going to open the whole thing up. Oh, why not? Giving you options. You know, if it's baking hot, stick on the aircon. You know, control this zone. It goes on downstairs as well, so you can control the cabin. If it's cold, it's reverse cycle aircon. So just turn on the heating. That's fine too. But if it's moderate like it is today, you know, we've just gotten out of the wind. It's a real windy day today, but we decided to come in here to do this walkthrough. We can just have some natural ventilation coming through this side walkthrough here. We could have the window, pop the roof, enjoy the sun, and it's still a good temperature. So I really like to see that. Finally, before we go downstairs, this is something I always appreciate to see. It's a proper fold down. Jesus, that's like 2 inches thick. Short man step, thank you. And a teak, very nice teak little footrest just here. So that's good to see as well. Let's go up the front. I'll stick my sunnies back on. I'll try and point out things as I see them. A little bit of a drain before you go downstairs there. More cup holders here. Courtesy lights all the way through. You're never going to trip on this boat. Hand holds. And so this, it's not a big swing open door. It's a sliding door. So you actually just unlock it using this. The whole thing slides across and it's solid as, because we did just belt through some waves. No rattles, no funny vibrations. Really well designed. And this is just a closing door. That's really just going to stop the wind coming through. But as you come forward, you know, height-wise, again, I'm 5'7", I feel safe. Yeah, you know, that's fine. If you're super tall, well, then that's up to you. But you're not going to be struggling for something to hold on to, is the words I was looking for. So you will still feel safe up here. And you can walk around quite easily. I mean, I've got heaps of space to operate in. I'm just digesting all this as I look and talk, but this is a party zone. Like 2 cup holders, 2 cup holders, 2 cup holders, 2 cup holders. Little slots for your phones just up there. Obviously the anchor operation is here, but we have these 2 slots here and here. So that's going to send poles out on either end. We clip them in at the front. This whole bow lounge area can be in shade. 6 or more people can come up here and be accommodated quite comfortably. You could see people lounging like this because this angle is quite comfortable. Like it acts like a bit of a backrest. So you could be people here, people there, people obviously lounging out like this. This is for all the sexy people. That's good. Oh my God, charging points for your phone. So you don't even have to go anywhere. So put your phone, charging point there, phones, beers, cocktails. Jesus, that's good. And I noticed a little secret when I was playing around with this before. So if you want to do the little sit-down intimate party, you can do that too. That's with different settings. So, you know, kids could be sitting here and not disturbing mum or dad's vision who are at the helm and driving. Obviously, it's a wonderful place to come and socialise. And then when you want to kick back, you can. So that's very, very clever. Before we go downstairs, I'll quickly run up the side and just tell you what I see. So, okay, so handhold. It's probably only 6 inches wide. You don't necessarily need to go up here too much, but first things I'm noticing, plenty of cleats. So they haven't cheapskated out on just doing midships cleats. So when you're at the dock, you got cleat, forward cleat, you got this midships cleat, and then you got another midships cleat here, and then you got more cleats down at the back of the boat. So securing this thing to the dock and setting your springers is going to be good. And they've even been nice enough to do courtesy lights above the cleats. Thank you very much. This is not a side walkway for your mother-in-law or maybe it is. But I wouldn't be sending those, you know, less mobile people up here. I'd be making sure you send the unfit ones because you could fall, but there's plenty to hold on to. And as I see up on the roof here, it's what you would expect really. I can see the horn, my aerials, my GPS and navigation, big gutters and drains, so no water is going to get into the main cockpit from this sunroof because it's got an overhang, big drain and a huge hole which will never get blocked. So that's sensible design. And the big windscreen, which we did use. Now, because it's the brand spanking new boat, we haven't even filled the water tanks up with water, so we couldn't turn on the freshwater wash. So excuse the salt, but we wanted to bring this video to you, so we didn't have time. So come with me. We'll go downstairs and we'll have a little bit of an explore. So first things that I can note is it's a sliding companionway access. That slides really easy. You've got the little safety lock here, so it's not going to chop your toes off through some waves. But what it does when you close this, you expose 2 more cup holders and another little storage area here for phones. So I like how they're just bringing the modern design thought process into this boat because everybody's got their phones these days. So come up here and have a look. So this is fancy. This is fancy. So first thing I'm noticing, there's a lot of mood lighting to set the scene, so to speak. We've got down lights, mood lights, lots of high quality leather on either side, and then some timber, different timber accents throughout the boat. We've got this custom fitted bed sheet, and this is clearly a queen size island bed, but couple of fancy reading lights and some down lights. You're not necessarily going to be sitting up in bed there, but I don't think this is the sort of boat that you'd be doing that on. It's more just a boat to come down and sleep, because really, why would you sit down here when you've got the upstairs area? But what I can see here, I've got 240 charging and twin USB charging sockets on the starboard side. I've got another 240 plug just here. Got my main breaker, somewhere for the remote controls. This little ledge here is just something good to put your hand on as you're moving around the bed. I've got some sniffers just for safety. That looks like a CO2 sniffer. This is my main control panel. So that's your 240 and your 12 volt is controlled from there. And that's obviously referring to manuals. So it's all digital these days. It's good to see. This is more Corian, so that's carrying through. It's a matte look, which is quite high quality. And a microwave. That's a sensible place to put it because, you know, why clutter the galley up with a microwave when you hardly use them? You're going to be using the Barbie and that hot plate a lot more, and the 2 fridges than a microwave. So that's sensible use of space. These drawers, yeah, oh, that's nice. Fancy little Regal towels and stuff. So this is good for bedding. So, okay, so they're the same size. So you can put your blankets on there for the colder nights. Okay, around on this side, we've got 2 more USB points and a 240 setup. So you could rest your phone here, charge phone and iPad just there, no problems. And nobody's struggling for options. And then you've got hanging, that's got some lights. That looks like it's cedar lined. Yeah, it's nice. That's good just for your wet weather gears, and you might take a jacket. You know, it's not, you don't need to take too much more. Light operation here. Big Samsung flat screen just here. That's what you're doing in this bed. You're kicking back and watching a movie, because lying down, snuggled up in bed watching a movie is going to be quite comfortable while the kids are upstairs, or vice versa. So as we make our way through, I like to see all these rounded edges. No one's going to hurt themselves. Soft touch around the place, even with the stairs themselves. You know, thinking about little ones running in and out of here until they get used to the boat. Last thing you want to see is sharp edges. So that's a good, safe way to do things. So what I'll do, I'll make my way and walk through the back of the boat here, and then I'll show you the toilet. But this is a good place to put your shoes on. You know, if you just gotten out of the shower, getting dressed, sit down, put your shoes on here. Makes sense. Little access hatches into the bilge, so not too interesting under there. I don't know what's in here. Oh yeah, okay. More storage, books, bits and pieces. This cabin back here is spacious. So, okay, try and give you a reference. So this is a good little hangout zone. It's full beam, lowish height, but it's designed for lounging and sleeping. So you could, on a cold night, you could, if you just wanted to change the scene, you could come down here and be really comfortable because you have these two large hull windows. You got big privacy blinds, so that one's closed, and I just opened this one before, but it really sets the scene. You've got some strip lighting, which is that nice, not over the top, it's kind of mood lighting. Little reading light here, charging points again, that's twin USB and 240. I can see an air conditioning vent just there, and I saw some more charging on this side and storage, and then an oversized bed. Like, oh yeah, you'd be comfortable here. Yeah, so that's fantastic. So, you know, kids, other adults would be more than comfortable down here. You know, if you're coming from a sports cruiser, when a lot of them really are just crawl spaces, this is a proper cabin. And I failed to mention before, it also turns into a ginormous king-size bed by sliding these two cushions from underneath here straight into the middle. So you have large single bed or small single, or a bed that you're never even going to touch the end of. Happy days. Let's have a look at the loo. Okay, so, wow. First impressions are, yeah, it really hits you, this one. This looks like real tile floors. How did they do that angle? I don't know if that is real tiles or what, but that's very, very nice to see. So I've got a big sink, Corian bench top here, some sort of plasticky back, so that's going to be okay with moisture, but it's got a textured finish which looks very nice. Proper mirrors which have storage for all your toiletries back there. I can see two hooks, so I can have a hand towel and a proper towel here. You can plug in a shaver just there. You can put your toilet paper down here. Oh, that's quite a lot of space actually. So you can have a little bin and even the hair dryers and that sort of stuff. And then another drawer there. So that's like more than enough for the kind of boating that people are going to do with this. But check out this. This looks like teak. I have never seen this on a sports cruiser before. So we've got a storage shelf here for all your shampoos and your bits and pieces, your hot and cold mixer, a proper rain head shower just there. This is your toilet operation, but this is a very sensible use of space because most boats on this size, people are going to want a separate shower, but you can't do it. You can't have everything. There's physically not enough space to put a separate shower in a boat of this length. So you often don't get it. But what they've managed to do is hide the toilet under this teak seat, which is a place to sit down and have a shower if the boat's rocking around, or something to hide the toilet. So when you need to use the toilet, that's just held up there with a magnet. You've got your operation just there. You've got this nice porcelain loo. That's a high quality Tecma jobby. But when you do want to have a shower, we've got a proper shower screen here, so it becomes a separate shower. I think that's a very intelligent solution and more than enough space to move around and do your thing for what is only going to be 1 or 2 nights on a boat anyway. Fantastic. So I couldn't finish this video without showing you the equipment room, because this is one of the benefits of when you go to outboard power. You're not filling up the back of the boat with engines, so you can neatly lay out all your equipment and have extra space for storage. So I'm thinking those little electric jet ski type things, personal jet ski thingamybobs, a couple of them could go down here. Other items that you're not going to try and use all the time. But just briefly, what we're looking at, starting on port, we've got the batteries, we've got our big lithium batteries here. We do have the generator, and that's standard on this boat. Blowers to ventilate the area, a fireboy system. Behind me is all my wiring loom, holding tank, fuses and hydraulics. Super well laid out, built for longevity. I love it. Even the grippy flooring makes it usable for storage and other items. Okay, so what is my wrap up on the Regal 36XO? It's great. This thing's top notch. If you are looking for quality, if you are looking for a boat to keep for a long time, if you're looking for a boat that's going to look after you, when I say that, I mean look after you in a mechanical perspective and look after your friends and family from a comfort perspective, this thing is going to do it hands down, no problems. So if that is you, you need to talk to Steve and Lee from Premier Marine. I'm going to put a link to their website in the description below. My name's Dan Jones. This is Dan's Boat Life. I'll see you on the next one.
They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun. Lie in the sun, yeah. Lie in the sun.
She really has a lot of pickup, so I'm just going to get in here out of these waves just so I can give you a true speed representation, and then we'll hook it around the corner.